takes, that's you. 3 takes, not me. 2 takes if you lucky. First take, stop me. 4 takes, that's you. 3 takes, not me. 2 takes if you lucky. First take, you got me.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Cobb and Dash Show, only on the BL Plus. Big week this past weekend. Obviously everyone's taking a look at the standings. Everyone knows what's up. And tonight we don't have our third co-host, our numbered guy, our Alex. But we have a guest host instead. We got my guy. Marcus Berry coming on right now. Hey Marcus, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, it's good to be here.
So yeah, a couple weeks ago he was a guest, and he did so well. Actually, good ratings and reviews on that episode, and we brought him on to be our co-host tonight. So Cobb, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great, man. Not the best week one, but I'm looking for the rest of the season, and happy to see Barry part of the show.
Yeah, and Barry's gonna do a little motivational speech for our guy Reuben at the bottom of the not sure how serious it'll be, but that'll be fun. The next little topic. So from Barry's juice to Barry's motivational Barry's motivational squeeze. Barry's juice to Barry's motivational squeeze. But yeah, Alex, for not being on the show tonight. If I was him, I would want to be on the show tonight. He's playing against me. He just lost last week. I mean, he had a high score for the losers. Pretty good.
But 2 points.
Yeah. So good show tonight. So the way we're going to go about this show during the season, instead of doing a full-on recap of last week, each of us are going to take one takeaway from the previous week, and that's how we'll do it. And then we'll go into the preview of the games of week 2. So with that, I'll begin with my thing that really stood out to me. A lot of people thought going into the year that the Bears pickup lines would take a step back with Tyreek Hill not being on the team anymore, much like people thought the Chiefs would take a step back with not having Tyreek Hill. And what happened? We scored 168, led the league in points. Reigning team that won points totals last year is back on top with a 168 to start out the season. Would have beaten every other team. Just dominant performance from Mahomes and Kelsey to show the whole league that we're still here, and no Tyreek Hill. No problem. So, that was my big takeaway. And it was really good to beat Barry, my guy right here. He had a decent performance, but it wasn't enough to, put down Barry's pickup lines. So Barry's pickup lines is still here and still a formidable force in this league. Cobb, what was your takeaway from week 1?
Yeah, I mean, an easy one would be the Stew era is here, but I'm thinking I'm going to go with the pancaking race. I think it's pretty clear the two contenders right now between Roden and Reuben. Both looked real bad this week, but hopefully they can stay motivated and keep pushing. I hope they don't race. I mean, or they don't end up in the race too much longer. But if it's any indication, the two people who did the pancake challenge both won this week. And you can see how bad it was that they want to win that badly. They don't want to do it again. So look out, Roden and Reuben.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. That was one of the ones I wanted to talk about tonight as well. But yeah, rough. Look at their teams. I don't see a path forward. Although Roden does have some decent options on the bench. So I think Roden's got a better path forward. But Reuben, oof. He better get used to taking shots. And we're still waiting on his chug. He says he's not doing a chug. He says he's not going to chug a beer or anything. He says he's going to do a shot, which is kind of weak. I think I'd rather have a chug than a shot.
2 shots. Well, they can do 2.
2 shots. All right, Reuben, 2 shots. Actually, should we get him on right now to do 2 shots? What do you think he would do that?
Maybe.
Send him the link. Get him on. While you're doing that, Barry, give us your what stood out to you week 1? What was your week 1 takeaway?
My week 1 takeaway was actually Devontae Adams being traded over to the Raiders and not skipping a beat. Derek Carr was throwing to him every single time. So
yeah, but you lost. So what was a key takeaway though from the week 1? I mean, Devontae Adams was key and all, but that really didn't amount to much. What stands out to you on the standings? That really stands out to you?
That you should not be number one. I got a lot of work to do. I'm playing Cobb this week, so I got a lot of work to do. But actually, it's a revenge game, as I was telling you earlier. It's a revenge game from last year. So Cobb beat me last year to get to the championship, and I need to get him back this year. So
That'll be key.
starts tomorrow.
Starts tomorrow. And while we're getting Reuben on to do his chug or his shots, we're gonna go ahead and go to commercial break. This episode is sponsored by Marcus Berry Fitness. Marcus Berry Fitness gives you free 2-week challenge to lose some weight or gain muscle, whatever you want. He offers nutritional plans, full-on workout plans, all the good stuff. So we'll take a quick break for Marcus Berry Fitness.
What's going on, guys? It's Marcus here. If you're looking to lose 5 to 10 pounds over the next 14 days, well, I'm launching a free 14-day fitness challenge. Comment or DM me below with the arm flex emoji. Let's go.
While we were on commercial break, Cobb was getting a hold of Reuben Gall, our Pancake King for the week. Cobb, what did Reuben say to you?
Yeah, Reuben was more than happy to hop on the show. He wants everyone to know how seriously he's taking this league and how he's setting the precedent for the rest of the punishments. Might be a thing where the punishment is done live on the Cobb and Dash show. Reuben's a strong start.
Yeah, no, 100%. I thought he wasn't going to do it. I thought he's been avoiding because I told him to post it before Thursday night, and we still have one more day. But hey, if he's going to come on the show and do it live, I think. I mean, nothing beats a live performance, right? I mean, everyone pays big money for live performances. I want one. What do you say?
Let's make it happen.
You know what I'm saying? We're going to go to our Pancake King to do a live performance for us in Reuben Gall. So we're going to get to that right now. Gotta say, Reuben being one of the heads of this league, our rule maker, just a really good guy. He's coming on to do what he's got to do, and that's what he is. Hey, Ruby, how you doing, buddy?
Fuck last place. I gotta be quick. So this is proof. I'm pouring it from a bottle.
2 shots, correct? Cup, 2 shots.
Sure.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you got it.
You're not doing a chug, so 2.
Oh my god, that'll do it. Reuben, I was saying that you're setting a precedent for other people. So we're proud of what you're doing.
I'm setting the bar high then.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's a champ right there.
That is a champ.
Look at those biceps. You riding?
All right. I'm about to die.
All right, Reuben. Hey, good luck this week. All right.
Good luck.
We'll have a nice week 2 preview for you.
Yeah. All right. See you guys.
Take it easy, buddy. See, folks, that's it. That's the Pancake King right there. He chose not to do a cold beverage, a chug of beer or chug whatever. He chose to do 2 shots of whiskey.
I'm 3 or 4.
Yeah, that was a lot. That is really nasty, actually. But that's what it takes in this league. Put some hair in your chest. If you're going to be scoring 89 points, you got to be doing stuff like that, and that's awful. Otherwise, you can be on the other end of things, collecting $30 from other people because you won the high score for the week. That's what you could be doing. I'm doing that. He's doing the other thing. But all right, we're gonna get back into the week 2 preview of Cobb and Barry. You guys will both have a chance to say something about the projection for this week. But Kyler Murray at Vegas, Russell Wilson at Houston. Man, Houston's defense was pretty good all game up until the end where Jonathan Taylor kind of torched them. Vegas, they looked all right, but yeah, I'm gonna say it's a wash, and it's pretty much a wash based on projections. Devontae Adams and Cortland Sutton. I'm going Devontae Adams. All Carr did was look at him. I think that's gonna be the demise of that team this year. He just looks at Devontae Adams. Austin Eckler and Joe Mixon. Based on the way Leonard Fournette spanked the Dallas run game last week, I'm gonna go Joe Mixon, and I think the Bengals will fucking run that team out. But yeah, I think Mixon's got a significantly better game than Eckler. Then you got Ertz. Schultz. Is Ertz playing?
He's still up in the air.
Up in there. Okay, well, I'm going to go Schultz then. Tyreek Hill and Deontay Johnson. I'm going to go Tyreek Hill. Yeah, definitely. Juju Smith-Schuster and Cook. Miles Sanders, James Robinson. Seems like Robinson was kind of touchdown dependent last week. Seemed that way. I'm going to go Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders looked pretty good. He looked like he had a little something in the system a little bit. So that's what is that? Wash, 1, 2. That's pretty split. Pretty much the projection is right on. I think these two guys, both these guys want the win. We're talking 8th, 9th seed game right now. Very close. I think, man, I think Barry wins, man. I think Barry wins slightly. Yeah. Yeah, I think Barry wins 141 to 139. I think that's how close it is. And based on this, it would come down to Monday night between the Sanders and Dalvin Cook. So yeah, that's where I have it. Very, very close though. Yeah, it's gonna be a very close game, and I think I'll make a bold prediction here. I think loser of this game misses the playoffs. Lock it in. So one of you guys is gonna miss in the playoffs. Sucks, but it has to be done. Cobb, since you're the other co-host of this show, I'll let you. What do you think about my prediction? What do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, no, I think it's really fair. Obviously Barry's not an easy matchup. And, if I drop this one, we were talking earlier about my next couple of matchups. I have Alex, Hoch, and Dash. That's a tough opening schedule. Those are some of the top teams. There might be one other team that I put up there, but it's top five other teams in the league, I think.
Yeah.
I think, like you said, Russ was a spitting image of Kyler. I was just used to watching Kyler not get a touchdown from the goal line last year, and then this happened twice. Three times with Russ this past game, which was rough. Kyler Murray still ended up getting 25 points just because of his legs. And I guess he had a second touchdown. But one thing I am happy about is I didn't get a single touchdown from any of my guys. And I still scored over 130. I'm gonna take that as a positive look, or as a positive sign. And my last flex spot, James Robinson, that's still something I'm playing with. I got some other guys on the bench, Damian Harris, Alan Lazard, who I thought I was going to end up playing last week, but didn't. But yeah, no, I'm going to put a lot of thought in my lineup this week because I know how important it is. And I think I bounced back here. I think Russ and Cortland Sutton are going to show what they could have done last week. And then hopefully pull out the win. So I'm gonna give myself a close win here. I'm gonna go 145 to 140.
Wow. So Cobb usually never picks himself. This is another thing. He doesn't like to pick himself on here. He doesn't want to reverse jinx it. So it's interesting that Cobb's going with this. I think Cobb knows that his season's on the line right now.
Roll back the tapes. I think I always pick myself.
Maybe. Bear, what do you think about Cobb? What do you think about my prediction? What do you think about Cobb's prediction? And what do you think about this matchup?
Yeah. I'm not the biggest fan of your prediction there, but
what do you think Cobb's gonna win?
Huh?
You think Cobb's gonna win then?
Yeah, we got to do reverse jinx around here. You gotta get things going.
Wow,
you say that loud.
One thing about a reverse jinx, you don't admit the reverse jinx, so that means you're gonna get reverse jinx and you're gonna lose. Cobb's probably gonna win. But continue.
No, I think with Kyler Murray, really in the beginning of the game, like he gave that touchdown away to James Conner. That was all his work. And he still ended up with 25 points. So that was pretty impressive. I think he'll have a bounce back game. Zach Ertz is still up in the air. So we'll see, because last year Ertz played pretty well. Obviously he's hurt this year. So Devontae Adams, he's going to be Devontae. Then Austin Eckler. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens there. Kind of becoming a crowded backfield over there. There's a lot of options, and I feel like some of his touches are being taken away. But I think he gets back on track this week. Tyreek Hill, I think he gets in the end zone this week too. So Miles Sanders, and same situation, kind of like a crowded backfield over there. But I think he gets back in the end zone. So I'm going to say that I win this game 150 to 142. Yeah, in my revenge game. So
wow,
I needed this. So, but
oh yeah, I guess I beat you in the playoffs last year, didn't I?
That's right.
Almost forgot.
Wow, look at this guy's cocky. It's like drunk Cobb right there talking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And hopefully the defense gets me going this week. So I had a pretty rough week defensively besides Myles Garrett, but everyone else should be back on track this week. So
looking forward to it.
Let's go.
I mean, it's probably the matchup of the week, really. That game, just because of the implications, because we haven't seen Cobb in this kind of position before. He actually might go 0-2 to start a season now, and a lot of people are rooting for it. People don't like the fact that he almost went the 3P. People didn't like that. He's become one of the enemies of the league now, and it's unfortunate. but a lot of people feel that way. Okay, so Cobb, for matchup number 2, you get to do the other matchup involving our hosts between me and Alex, and you get to comment on Cobb's. You do a quick prediction. You don't really get to say. You don't have a kind of an input on this. You just say prediction for this one after Cobb goes, but I respond back to my match.
Yeah, this is I mean, it's the 4 people that are most involved in the show getting matchups week 2. You know, this is usually middle of the season, middle of the season matchups we see, but in similar situation, like Alex is in a similar situation to me and Barry. He needs to win this week. I would argue that if he doesn't get a win this week, that he might not make the playoffs. You know, he had a big matchup last week. Again, was in a similar boat where we both have pretty tough schedules to start off the season. He wasn't able to beat Hoch, our defending champion, which makes sense. I mean, Hoch's team is quite good. Just showed that he didn't need to draft that well to still put up a great team. But yeah, I think Alex needs to win more than Dash does. Does that have any implication to who wins this game? I don't know. We saw Dash have the highest score last week, and that's not who I want to run into. You saw the $30 he just flashed, but yeah, going matchup to matchup, Mahomes versus Stafford. This should be closer than it is, but I think we people have talked about like Mahomes was gonna fall off after Tyreek Hill, but then he comes out and throws 5. If anything, maybe Hill leaving helped. Like he passes it to everyone, and he's got 5 touchdowns last week. Stafford looked a little off, but he does get a bounce back spot against Atlanta, even though Atlanta looks surprisingly decent week 1. So I'm going to give the slight edge to Mahomes there. Deebo Samuel versus Kupp. Man, with Eli Mitchell going out, Deebo might be in the backfield a little more often, but I'm going to give Kupp the edge there. Elliott versus Javonte. I'm going to go Javonte. Waller and Kelsey, Fournette, Edmonds, Fournette, Etienne, CEH. I mean, after last week, maybe CEH. I think it's a pretty close. I'll give a slight edge to CEH. Singletary, Patterson. I'll go Patterson. I think I saw that Patterson had one of the highest usages out of all the backs last week. I think it was like 4th, but highest usage that he's had since he's been on the Falcons. So with that being said, I mean, I think right now the projections are really in favor of Alex, but last week Alex had one of the highest projections too, and you saw how that turned out. I'm gonna go Dash going 2-0, Alex dropping to 0-2. Sorry, I wish he was here so he could talk about his matchup and defend his squad, but you know, I think he might be a little, and then who knows, after going 0-2, similar to me and Barry, one of us goes 0-2, we'll see how we bounce back. But I'm going to go Dash winning and his stack outperforming Alex's stack, actually. I'm going to go with, let's say, 151. It's got a high score. I'm going to go 151 146 Dash.
What do you think the score will be?
Well, after the stack last week, I think Dash is going to take this one. I'm going to go 147 to 134.
I like where you guys are going with the high scores here. You guys are giving me the edge to maybe even win the high score next week again. Be nice. 60 Buckarooski's right away. You make my money back.
How I put 150 on me.
Nice. I heard. Yeah. Okay. So if Alex is here, I'll do the impression of Alex. I mean, I actually like my team this week. I actually like it this week. That's what Alex would be saying right now. But hey, Mahomes, like I said earlier, to start the show out, everyone thought Mahomes was done. Everybody thought the Bears pickup lines was done. Everyone said, oh, he doesn't have the triple stack anymore. But you know what happened, guys? I ended up trading away Tyreek Hill, and I ended up stealing Clyde Edwards-Helaire from the rest of the league. I got him so late in this draft with 4th or 5th round. And I have probably what some are actually saying this might be a more formidable triple stack than the Tyreek Hill, Mahomes, Kelsey one. Because now I got the ground game and I got the catches at the backfield. And that's what CH is bringing. So the triple stack between those three are just going to put me over the edge again, I think, this week. On top of that, Cordell Patterson, I don't know why he also fell in the draft. I was surprised when he did because it's like, okay, I'll take him. Sucks he doesn't have the WR and RB option anymore, but he's just an RB. I'll tell you what, man, he's getting 20 to 30 touches a game. You're not stopping that train. And then Elijah Mitchell out for the season, as you mentioned, Cobb. Elijah's not for season, but for a good while. Debo's going to take a lot of the handoffs in the backfield. I know that's why he got his contract written in his contract. If he needed to have to take a lot of handoffs this year, he'd be getting compensated for it as an incentive. Right now, the two spots I'm kind of worried about is the Zeke and Chase Edmonds. I don't know about Chase Edmonds. Also played the Patriots, good defense last week. Zeke, without Dak, I don't know how everyone maybe they'll stack the box against them. I don't know. Maybe Cooper Rush will be good. I don't know. So 2 question marks. But I think as long as I have the top heavy guys with Mahomes, Kelsey, and Debo, I think that'll kind of coast me. And as long as Cordell Patterson and CH are still doing what they're doing, I think I'm going to coast straight right to the first round, right to a first round bye in the playoffs. And Alex's team, on the other hand, outside of Stafford and Cup, this team is very like, okay, it's a solid team. Like I could see it making the playoffs as a 6 seed, like it was last year, maybe. But Stafford, Cup, they didn't even look that good last week. Stafford didn't look that good. Cup did. He checked down to him the entire time. Javonte got a lot of checkdowns, but he didn't do much in the running game, but he got a lot of checkdowns. He had like 10 catches or something. Take away those 10 catches, give him 5. I think he had like a decent game. Alex overdrafted Travis Etienne. I don't think he should have drafted him where he did. I think that was kind of a silly one because as you looked back in the first matchup, James Robinson's the main running back there. Etienne's like a change of pace back. He's like the J.D. McKissick of the Jaguars offense. And J.D. McKissick went very late in this draft. Travis Etienne won the first round in this draft. So I think as of right now, Alex's draft, a lot of question marks there. Devin Singletary, solid game last week. I mean, what do you have? He had a 7, and this is Alex's last flex. 7. I thought he had a better game than that last week. But no, Alex's team is going to get run out of the building, I think. And the last time I played Alex, just to give some fantasy history here, the Chiefs and the Chargers played on a Thursday night. This is the first round of the playoffs last year. And just to give a little throwback to you guys, Mahomes had a 43, and Travis Kelce had a 37 in that game. Those two alone pretty much outscored Alex's team that night, or that week. I ended up scoring 183 to Alex's 120 that week. So not to pat myself on the back, I think I'm going to score 183 this week. I do think Mahomes has heard the whispers of Herbert, being better than him. And I think like he did that year or last year, Mahomes is going to come out again, score 43 or 40 plus like he did last week and that week. And Bears pickup line is going to win 175 to 130. Alex is going to get fucking dominated. And Alex is going to start 0-2. And if Alex starts 0-2, Alex is not going to make the playoffs. Yeah.
Wow, not making playoffs predictions on this show.
I think 0-2 puts you in a real bad hole. It's tough to get out of. I mean, I don't know who Alex is playing next after this. Let's see who Alex is playing next.
I think he's playing me.
But I mean, there you go. Because guess what? If both of you guys are starting 0-2, someone's got to go 0-3 of that group. And I'm going to be right about someone. If I keep saying people are going to be making this in playoffs, I'm going to be right eventually. So if it's going to be one of you two going 0-3, yikes. But we'll see. Yeah, I don't think Alex has a good path forward. His team does not look good. His bench is kind of rough too. So it's like you're starting Devin Singletary. You have a rough bench. So after he plays you, he plays where the hell is he? He plays Teja. Okay, thankfully for him, he plays Teja because Teja's team is kind of meh. But yeah, it could be a rough slate for Alex. And he's been on one of those teams who's never won a playoff game. He's always like barely in the playoffs when he does make the playoffs as a 6 seed or a 5 seed. So like him not making the playoffs is not really that much of a surprise but the one thing I will say about it though, that guy does so much fantasy research, like starting so early on in the year, that for him to not win a playoff game in this league, and he's been in the league for like 7 years now, kind of pathetic. And if he does miss the playoffs, it even makes it more pathetic that he didn't even he starts his fantasy research like in fucking February. And he's not making the playoffs. Unfortunate for the guy. I feel for him. I know this year he's got a lot on his mind. He's got a wedding in February to get ready for, and maybe it takes an early start to for the wedding prep. Maybe he gets everything ready to go. Maybe he gets everything ready to go in October, getting ready for February. Could be good for him and the wife. So yeah, good luck to Alex. I hope the 0-2 start is nice for you. Yeah, I feel bad for the kid. So Barry, next matchup, I want you to talk about the Wolf of Paul Street and ZT's fantasy team.
Ooh, wow. So I was looking at these matchups here. Wow. You scroll up a little bit there. Yeah, wow. So with last year or with this last week with Justin Herbert, he played pretty well. So he's coming off in his third season, I believe. Yeah, he's playing pretty well. Obviously I have Eckler, so I need Herbert to actually give him the ball. Diggs, obviously a Maryland guy. Yeah. Go Turks. There we go. And Jonathan Taylor, yeah, tearing it up every single week, just continuing what he did last year. George Kittle, don't know what his status is. Is he going to play, not practicing? Look likely out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Kareem Hunt still finding a way to get in the end zone last week. And then Mike Williams, I'm guessing that connection will be back this week because that last week, nothing really happened. So,
well, Keenan Allen's not playing, so.
Yeah. And so I think more targets would definitely be going to Mike Williams.
Yeah.
Christian Kirk was good. And I think for Paul, TJ Watt's hurt. So that's a big loss for Paul.
Yeah.
And that was a big part of my team last year. So my condolences to Paul. And ZT's team with Lamar Jackson. I don't know, man. With that whole contract situation, he could actually tear it up this year and have a really big year fantasy-wise for the people hating on Lamar. But other than that, I still think Paul rolls in this one. Even with Saquon like getting back into the lineup, even scoring last week, I still think Paul is going to win this one. So, with my projection, I'm going to say 132 to about 125.
Cobb, what's your projection for the score?
I'll go 135 to 125, Paul.
135, 125, Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I'd love to root against Paul, it's just easy to root against Paul sometimes. Just because like it's just fun to root against him because he takes a little personally, even though it's all fun and games here. ZT's also a fun guy to root against too. So you got two guys right here. It's pretty fun to root against. Yeah, I don't know. ZT's team doesn't really stand out to me. Paul, honestly, was it Roden who traded Christian Kirk to Paul? Like you helped him out so hard, like that last flex spot as Christian Kirk. I mean, Kirk's good. I mean, I knew they paid him handsomely. I knew he was going to be a focal point of that offense, and he is. Go figure. But yeah, I'm gonna go Paul here. I wouldn't be surprised if ZT wins, but I'm gonna go Paul 132 to 127. I think ZT there's gonna come a time where ZT is gonna notice that he can't get over the 130 hump. I think he won 127 with 127 to 90 last week or something like that. So like that's gonna be the hump he's gonna have to get over, and I don't think his team has the firepower to get over that hump. So, but I think it'll be 135 to 127 is my score for this matchup, Paul over ZT. All right, so the next matchup. Okay, I'll take what's this one? This is Hoch and Roden. Ooh, right. This really is rivalry week. We got Paul and ZT. We got me and Alex. We got Barry and Cobb. We got Roden and Hoch. I mean, this is fantastic stuff. This might. I mean, you can even make an argument. This is matchup of the week. And I'll tell you what, I'm in a group message with Paul and not with Hoch and Roden. And I gotta tell you, Roden's been getting under Hoch's skin quite often in our group message. I'm not even joking about that. Like, dead serious. Like, Roden makes a comment and Hoch, dude, shut the fuck up, dude. Why are you saying dumb shit like that? Like about like bets and stuff. But Hoch actually gets mad. But I'm like, the other day I actually had to say, all right, calm down a little bit. Everyone's just like making jokes here, you know. So that's interesting. And then when that's going on right as this, you know, they play this week. So a lot of things coming ahead here. I will say, I think while Roden did score pretty low last week, I do think Roden's team's better than what. And I said this last year. I remember I was on Roden's jock last year. I actually thought his team was good. I was the only one on the show actually who said we used to say that. But I'll say Brady and Allen. I think Josh Allen. I don't know, man. I think Brady wins this one because I Tennessee's going to come out with something to prove on Monday night after getting dominated by the Giants in that pathetic game there was. And New Orleans let Mariota run down that field on them last year. And also Brady I don't think Brady's beaten New Orleans yet. I think he's 0-4 against New Orleans, or he was 0-2 last year against them. I think he hasn't beaten New Orleans yet. I think he's been swept every year he's played against New Orleans. And I think he's got something to prove. It might be his last year playing football. Giselle's about to leave him. He's got something to prove. I think Brady's going to take this game and he's going to go hard in this one. I think Brady's going to outscore Josh Allen in this one. Everyone's sucking Josh Allen's cock, but I think Brady's going to take this one. And then with the stack, he's got Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase takes Mike Evans, unfortunately. Okay, then James Conner, AJ Dillon, give me James Conner. Mark Andrews Hutchinson, give me Mark Andrews. Jalen Waddle, Jefferson. Renfro Mooney. Wow. Dude, that's really bad. I like Renfro's potential over Mooney's. Jeff Wilson over Damian. Wow. Okay. I like Jeff Wilson's potential over Damian Pierce because Damian Pierce did not look like the guy everyone thought he was last week. Rex Burkhead looked like the man last week. It's unfortunate he didn't get Rex Burkhead. And Jeff Wilson, they're not going to go Debo all game long with a running back. Jeff Wilson's going to be the other back. So, I like Jeff Wilson over that. You know what? Based on this, top heavy, Hoch wins top heavy, but from top to bottom, I think Roden has a better team than Hoch from top to bottom. And I'm going to go Roden. Roden wins this one. Roden bounces back from a really dismal effort last week. Roden wins 131 to Hoch's 122. Cobb, what do you think the score is going to be?
I'm going to go Hoch's way. I think he's top heavy, but extremely top heavy. And we just saw that against Alex in week 1.
Yeah.
I think Josh Allen beats out Brady. I honestly kind of like Dillon over James Conner. But I also have a vendetta against James Conner because he takes a ton of touchdowns away from Kyler. Barry got a little taste of that last week. But yeah, I'm gonna go Hoch here. I won't say convincingly. I like a lot of close this rivalry week. Like you were saying, I'm gonna go a nice close one here, 145 to 140 for Hoch.
Wow, you're buying the Hoch hype, huh?
I mean, until I don't see it.
What's projection for you?
I'm also going to go Hoch's way.
Wow.
I think Hoch's team's actually pretty good this year, even after winning the championship last year. So I'm going to go 137 to 132 Hoch.
Wow. You guys are surprising me here, man. I thought everyone was going to like in Roden's team. It's crazy. Okay. So the next one here, this is an interesting one. Two of our favorite guys. Cobb, take us away. This has got Stu and Teja, Barry's Blue Sunday Blues versus the Suspenders.
Yeah. This is I think Stu was saying that he's playing Teja in 2 leagues this week. Is that right? Yep. So we got kind of maybe a rivalry here.
Rivalry.
Yeah. Mark them all down. So it's interesting to me that Stu's still going with Rodgers at quarterback. That was a very rough showing for him. It was good for me, even though I didn't quite make it last week. But even with Rodgers and CeeDee Lamb getting, I think, under 7 points, under 8, or maybe it was under 12 points, Stu still put up a ton of points against me. He has studs with Chubb, DeAndre Swift, and Pittman. Those guys were off to a great start. But going matchup to matchup, I think Teja's team, he has some good players. Jalen Hurts, I've never been a big fan, but he continues to put up numbers, and everyone else is a big fan of him. And then he's going against Minnesota, and that should be a potential shootout. And it's Monday night, and if I'm Stu, I don't like seeing that Monday night matchup and having it potentially come down to that. You're going to be, even though he didn't end up watching the Monday night game this Monday when it came down to that, but it shows how confident he is in his team. So Hurts versus Rodgers, I'm going to go Hurts. CeeDee Lamb versus Michael Thomas. I'm going to have to go Michael Thomas here, I think. CD with Dak's injury and Michael Thomas coming back on a limited count and getting 2 touchdowns, like that shows they want him back. And I think he's the guy that he might have been right before the injury. Chubb versus Aaron Jones. I'm gonna go Nick Chubb. Cole Kmet versus Dallas Goedert. I'm gonna go Goddard because Kmet got a 0 last week. Swift Cooks, Swift easy. Pittman against Henderson. Pittman easily.
Wow. Daryl Henderson. Can you give me a comment about that? No,
Wow.
not you. I'm Cobb. How did Teja get Daryl Henderson? Talk about that.
Yeah, he got
insignificant trade last week. You said insignificant.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I don't think it's making his team any better. I think Barry could have used Henderson a lot more and would have made your team a little stronger. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to affect the standing. That's what I meant by insignificant. Like, it's not going to affect any week for me. So, well, maybe it'll affect me this week by beat Barry.
I'm having a little bias.
But yeah, Montgomery versus Hines. I'm going to go Montgomery. So I have Stu winning this pretty convincingly. It's the projections seem a little low for both their teams. Well, I mean, he does have Rodgers and Lamb. I don't really know how well both of those guys are going to do. If it's in the 120s, I think Teja pulls it out. Like if it's a gritty game, I think Teja pulls out. But I don't think it'll be that way. I think Rodgers. I'm gonna bet on. I don't like betting against Aaron Rodgers, so I'm gonna go Stu winning. 146 to 130. 125. Yeah, 136 to 125.
Projection.
Wow. You know what? I'm gonna go the opposite way here. I'm going with the underdog here with Teja.
Wow.
I think he can pull this one out. I'm not as crazy as it sounds. Yeah, with the whole Rodgers situation, having the MB stackers had to retire it, but I'm just gonna swing Teja's way this week with 127, 121, Teja.
Yeah, in the 120s.
Interesting. Yeah, I was talking to Stu earlier before we came on. Stu let us know that he's playing Teja in 2 leagues. In that conversation, I said, "Do you have anything to say when we talk about your matchup tonight, so we can quote you?" And he said that I guarantee victory this week. So that was kind of bold that he would say such a thing. Yeah, Cobb was on the call when.
Yeah, there's a little extra than that, but. He kind of scoffed.
Yeah,
I thought he might not say anything else.
He did chuckle a good amount, and then we asked him to come on to say that, and he was like, "No, I'm not coming on." Okay, it was all right. Well, we're gonna quote you. I was like, "You sure you don't want to say anything else to defend what you're saying?" And then he said, "No, that's it." But anyway, he says he's gonna win, and honestly, I don't know, man. I like Stu's team. But the Rodgers, his quarterback situation, he really fucked up with his quarterback situation. He went drafted Lance like round 4, and then he drafts Rodgers, and he's not even starting Lance. And it looks like I'm probably gonna win that bet that Hoch and I had, the Trey Lance bet, top 12 quarterback. Doesn't look like a top 12 fantasy quarterback at all, actually. But anyway, I think Teja wins this week, and I really like CP win, and also Teja did want to make me say this. Actually, he said he paid a little homage last week. He thought he was going to pull out the win against Adam, but he said it was very gritty type CP victory if he were to pull that out. And he said it was a CP performance. It wasn't the worst in the league, but it wasn't a good score. So he said it was very CP and he said he was happy to pay some homage to CP in a way. But I think Teja gets his first dub in the BL Plus this week, and I think he gets in a very, very, very tough game. And I think it's going to be a 121 to 116. Teja wins in a really close one, and a really not a good score type effort, but yeah, that's where I think it goes this week. All right, Barry, finish this off with our current. See, this is why it's rivalry week. With our current, where are you? With our current Pancake King versus last year's the last ever Tomato King. Well, the first ever Pancake King was Adam. So the battle of Pancake Kings. What do you think about this?
Yeah, we have Adam and Reuben here. So, after obviously Reuben had we saw on the show that he took the shots there. I think he'll take some more shots for next week. So I think Adam pulls this one off. I know a lot of people dog Trevor Lawrence, but I'm actually kind of big on him this year. I think he'll actually step up. But in that matchup with Lawrence and Burrow, I'm going to take Burrow there. And then there's Judy and then Higgins. Higgins might not play. We don't know the status there. And I think Judy gets back on top there. So I'm going to take Judy there. And then CMC is back. and I think Najee's still hurt. I don't know if he's gonna play or not TJ Warren, the backup there.
TJ Warren key.
Yeah, it is key. But Warren, the backup for the Steelers, he might get the nod there, but I'm gonna take CMC. Njoku, and Kyle Pitts. I'm gonna take Pitts there. Then AJ Brown over Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson getting a 1 last week was kind of weak. And I'm going to take AJ Brown. I think he's going to dominate there. Then King Henry over Gabe Davis. Wow, Gabe Davis had a nice coming out party, but I'm going to take King Henry here. And overall, I think Adam wins this one. And Reuben's going to be drinking again. So,
you think he'll have the lowest score of the week?
I believe so. Wow. So I'm going to say it's going to be 130 to 99.
No, so you don't think he breaks the three digits, huh?
Not this week.
Damn.
Wow, 2 weeks in a row. Cobb, what's your projection here? What do you think?
I think Adam's 1-0, but I think score wise he bounces back. I'm gonna give him the 135 and Reuben 115.
Yeah, I think Adam wins. Yeah, actually. Because I thought
Higgins situation's rough for Adam there with Dak getting hurt, but
yeah,
I'm not the biggest Trevor. I don't think he's going to be he's not a guy that you want to be starting in fantasy from here on out. Even though Dak might come out back in 5 weeks, but that's too many weeks with
debatable. It's a bad division. I don't know. I feel like this would be a coming out party for Trevor Lawrence, but I'm not the biggest. I don't know,
coming out party. Indianapolis Stevens is too good for like that. Even though Mills looked pretty good against them.
That's what I'm saying.
I will say this though.
Division's open.
Reuben's team is pretty bad. He's starting Donovan Peoples-Jones. I don't think people understand how bad that is. Donovan Peoples-Jones. There's guys on the waiver wire who's better than Donovan Peoples-Jones. That's how bad his team is. I don't even understand the logic behind that last flex. Is he trying to trade Donovan Peoples-Jones? Just put him in the starting lineup and trade him. I don't understand. And then T. Higgins and the Najee Harris both banged up already after week 1. So that's terrible. And if God forbid either one of those guys out, who's he starting? Wow. Yeah, it's a really bad team. And like the worst part, if Aaron Rodgers saw Reuben's bench, he'd like tell him to probably quit playing fantasy football because like even Aaron Rodgers is even one of these guys on his team, let alone on a fantasy team. Jesus. I think Adam wins. I don't think it's close. I'll go Adam wins 125 to Reuben 102, and I think he gets the lowest score of the week again. But I think it makes triple digits. Yeah. Okay, so next, so that was the last matchup of week 2. Next, we're gonna go to the Pancake King, the first Pancake King of the year. And to do that, before that, we're gonna actually take a commercial break to our sponsor, IHop, the home of the stack. Go get yourself some pancake stacks. All right, we're back. Now that's time for the Pancake King rankings. So the way we'll go with this, each of us will say who our 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 are, and then yeah, that's it. Not really, don't go too much into it. You can just kind of give a brief little statement on each 7, 8 through 9, 10, and 11, 12. But I guess we'll all begin. Do you know your 7? You know your 7 is, Cobb? Are you guys good on your list?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so I'll begin. So my 7th is my guy Ryan Cobb right now. I don't think it's a good enough team to be in the top 6. He didn't win last week, so I can't save face and put you in there. You know, it looks like I'm biased toward my co-host. But I think you're a 7th spot right now. I think you're a good team. I think you're a good owner. I think this is a big week for you because I don't think if you don't win this week, I think we're going to be looking at you down below. But 7 right now, you're on the cusp. I think right now that's where you are. You're a 7th spot right now.
All right, and I did a little digging last time I went 0-2. That was 2017.
Holy shit!
When I went 0-4.
Wow!
And not only that, I've won 2-0 every year since then.
Damn.
So this is a little different of a start.
Where did you finish that year for the season?
When I started 0-4,
Yeah,
9. I ended up going 5-8.
not bad.
Yeah, not bad. I had a key teammate that year. I was straight out of Lansing. But no, I mean, I'm not gonna. I lost last week. I lost to probably a better team. But I still very confident in my team, so that's cool. My 7 seed, even though he won, I'm not buying it. I'm gonna go ZT. I've kind of taken a little bit of a turn on his team. I like Saquon. I think he should be extremely happy with how Saquon looked. Lamar, I kind of want a little more coming against the Jets, but I do like Lamar. But then the rest of his team, like Terry is good, but like, is he gonna blow you away every week? I don't know. It's just a lot of guys that I just don't like. I think Alvin is an issue too. He was my guy last year, but I traded him away for a reason, and they just signed Latavius Murray, and I feel like you don't bring up a running back from the practice squad if there's not an issue there. But who knows? I'm not sold on ZT right now. But this could completely change next week if he's able to beat Paul. So ZT's my 7.
Here's your 7.
I'm gonna take ZT as my 7 too. Like I said, like a lot of people are counting out Lamar, but I think he's in for a big year. So, and even though I think ZT is going to lose this week, but I think just moving forward as the 7th seed, I have ZT as mine.
Solid. Okay, so now we're going to the 8th spot. 8th spot, I got the guy I pretty much buried with the highest score. I buried Barry. And that's where I have Barry at the 8th. I predicted last week that I would be burying him. And I did, put him in a body bag, Cobra Kai style, 168 to 122 as a score. I think his team's solid. I think I have him winning this week. So, and that's a big win against Cobb. But if Barry loses, or Barry wins, then he'll probably be in the top 6. He's got a good team, top to bottom. He's got a good team. Miles Sanders, we didn't know what was going to happen with Miles Sanders. And Miles Sanders looks back. If that's Barry's last flex, then Barry is back. So with the Kyler Murray situation, I think it's proven to be not the smartest pick at where he got him in the top of the 2nd round. That team looks like a disaster, but a lot of football to be played. So Barry's my 8th as of right now. So he's on the cusp of making the playoffs. It's hard for me to not pick against 2 teams that have been in playoffs consistently between Barry and Cobb for the last few years. So that's why I have him 7th, 8th, or the outside looking in, but right away outside looking in. So
didn't seem that hard. My seed is going to be another guy that's made playoffs pretty consistently, but hasn't had much success in them. I think it might be time to take a break from the playoffs with Alex. Unfortunately, he's not here again. He's not here, unfortunately, but I'm outside, like Dash said earlier, outside of his stack, I'm not super sold on this team. I think Javonte looked really good. I think the 11 catches isn't going to happen every week, but I think he's going to make up for that on the ground game. And Lenny looked good, but the rest, like Devin Singletary, Etienne, will be good maybe later in the season. I don't know. It's similar to ZT where like I get it if this ends up being a good team, but I'm not sold right now. So I'm going to go 8 for Alex.
Interesting. Wow.
And as for me, I'm also going to take Alex as the 8th seed.
Ooh.
Yeah. Outside the stack, it kind of drops off with you have Waller, and then you have Fournette, then Etienne I'm not sold on, and then Singletary. I think Zach Moss could easily be the guy there. You just never know. Just I don't know. I think Alex should reconsider the name change because I think the Barry getting the playoffs and then getting in and actually winning. I think he might need to go a different direction with the name change there.
Wow. So you're saying he's not going to make the playoffs right now?
Well, yeah, he's at 8 seed.
No. But I'm saying you're telling him to change the name, so you don't think he's going to make the playoffs.
Considering.
Wow. That's big. That's really big. Interesting. Okay, so now we're going to go to the 9th seed. Now this one we all may be kind of different here, but my 9th seed is Roden. I think Roden's team is actually pretty solid. I know he didn't really score a lot last week. and made that bonehead trade, trading Christian Kirk for Jahan Dotson. Although Jahan Dotson looks pretty solid.
Touchdown.
Yeah, it looks pretty solid. And so I think Roden's team, if he continues to put together some wins, that's a team that could very well make the playoffs. I just think that Christian Kirk trade really bothered me, and I'm really upset he did that. Still, because he gave Paul fucking Christian Kirk for nothing. But Dotson looks all right. So he's a Redskin guy or Commander fan, so you might want to keep Dotson if Dotson is the real deal. And Dotson does look pretty damn good. So yeah, I like Roden at my 9 spot.
Yeah, at my 9, I have Adam. I think he would have been higher if Dak didn't get injured. But he did, and now he's starting Trevor Lawrence, so I don't like that as the starting QB. But his team has the makings of, the Paul's teams in the past where he has CMC and Derrick Henry, just stud running backs that can win you weeks and get you over the 150, 160 mark pretty consistently. I thought AJ Brown looked great. I kind of stayed away from the Eagles because I wasn't sure how they were going to look and how often they were going to look AJ Brown's way, but I mean, they showed up, but just a lot is riding on and he has Njoku as tight end, which I don't like. I mean, he got a 2 last week 1.4. It's just the QB issue right now for me that keeps Adam at 9.
Right. For my 9th, I'm actually going to take Teja, his team. I think with Michael Thomas coming back, scoring 2 touchdowns last week, I think that's going to be a good thing in his direction. Obviously, with him joining the league and taking over CP's team, he's come a long way already. And I think just moving forward, he's going to be the 9th seed here.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with that. And my 10th spot, I have Teja. Teja's, like I said, he did a good impression of CP's team last week with his gritty 106 almost win performance. And you got to give him credit for that. He lost 106 to 110, so pretty close game. Right now he's gonna have a lot of top echelon, talent. And I think Michael Thomas could be one of those guys. Everyone, like Paul made fun of Teja for drafting Michael Thomas and Godwin, and both those guys played last week. So I think Paul needs to retract some of the shit talking he had at the draft and apologize for that. I know Godwin got hurt, but Godwin played in week 1, and Michael Thomas looked like old Michael Thomas. So I think if I'm Paul, I'm making some calls to Teja, maybe apologizing. You don't want an enemy going into the playoffs later on in the season. But anyway, I think Teja is right around 10. If those guys start to pan out, if Darrell Henderson looks like the guy, I think he's got a solid chance as anybody else. But I think there's a big from 11 to 12. And there's a big drop off from 11, 12, and then 10, everybody else. I think 10, everybody else, there's a clear definition between my last 2 place guys. And my last 2 guys are going to be very different to your last 2 guys. So,
interesting to see. I'm going to agree with you on the 10 spot with Teja. I think I had him here previously. But, again, he has the makings of a good team. But we consistently, you guys were saying on this show multiple times, if he wins he needs to win 2 or 3 times before IHop comes back. There's already 1 game in, lost. Now he's going against Stu. That's not a great making. So good beginning of the season. So that's what's going to keep Teja at the 10 spot for me. But again, like you said, there's still a fine, everyone is pretty close at this point when it comes to that 7 to 10 for me, honestly. But yeah, so Teja at 10.
I'm actually going to put Dave here at as my 10th seed. So, I mean, I like the roster, but as of right now, just after it's Brady and Evans, and then I'm not really sold on James Conner, and then Waddle, and then Renfro. I'm not the biggest fan, but I think Dave's 10th seed here.
Okay, so for my 11th seed, it's going to shake up some things here. Unfortunately, he's not here to be able to talk back to me on this whole thing, but I have Alex at my 11th spot. I think Barry.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Barry spoke some facts here and talked about Alex maybe need to consider the name change. And it's kind of saddening for me because him and I usually every year we're like, at least we're gonna make the playoffs because we have Barry's name in our title. And it's been a streak going on for a long time, and Alex is probably going to break it this year. I just think Travis Etienne was a really, really poor pick, especially when when especially when Etienne was never even like a 20+ carry guy in college. Like he was a guy who would get maybe like 6 catches a game, maybe 10 carries, but he was never like a bell cow. And then he drafted him in the first round, like a bell cow that he thought he was going to be. And like
James Robinson looked good.
And James Robinson looks good. James Robinson, he's looked good since he's been in the league, you know?
Yeah.
And Etienne was always going to be a change of pace back. He was always going to be a JD McKissick. So that really saddened me that he went so high on a guy like that. His team's bench is not good. Singletary's his last flex. Etienne and him are his last 2 flexes. It's like, I think for me is this team would be like probably a 7th to 9th team for me. But I think it's the fact that he cares so much about fantasy and like he does so much work and has so much knowledge into it. And this is what he comes up with. He drafts Travis Etienne in the first round. It's like, what's going on here? It's a little bit of arrogance, and I don't know if I like it. And because of that, I think he's fighting for Tomato King. And I think this week, when he loses and he goes 0-2, I think he's really going to be considering starting to get more involved in the wedding planning, because I think his fiance is doing more of that right now, and I think he needs to do a little more too. And I think I'm gonna make that happen this week. I think I'm gonna get him thinking about his team name next year, and also what that wedding is gonna be looking like. Come tomorrow, because my triple stack, it's gonna make sure he starts thinking about the wedding. And unfortunately, because I love the guy, he's my co-host. I want to be in the. I want all of us to be in the playoffs, but I just don't think it's happening this year for him.
Another Thursday night Chiefs game that he's going against.
Yeah, and if you look at his history, not so good.
Were you suggesting in
I'll tell you, hey Alex, if you want James Robinson, Melvin Gordon, you're to startable handcuffs. Honestly, my door's open.
Yeah, no.
Wow, that's a big step. And honestly, I don't know if we've had more bulletin board material than what just happened and what's going on in this show. So. We'll see. I'm excited to see the show next week. Cool. Well, with my 11, I'm going to go with Roden. I'm sticking pretty close to what the standings are at this point. I didn't see enough to put him any higher this week. I am not a big Tom Brady fan this year. I was surprised he didn't even do well last week. We'll see how he does without Godwin. Roden's going to be leaning on that stack from here on out. I already talked about how I don't like James Conner. And if Mark Andrews isn't the guy, who knows how this team is going to look, a couple of weeks from now. Like if Andrews isn't the guy he was last year, I don't know. And then Waddle looked good. I mean, he had that broken touchdown play. But other than that's where all of his yardage came from. And then Renfro, Jeff Wilson, those are all guys that you want. I don't want to be starting at this point in the season. That's key, maybe bye week fill-ins. And I'm already seeing them in the starting lineup, and I'm not a fan of that. So, but we'll see. I mean, Roden's had the success in the past to back it up. So, but for this week, I'm keeping on 11.
Here, I'm going to take Adam as my 11th pick here. Overall, I like I said earlier, I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have a big year in fantasy wise, but however, everything else I don't know. It's just not proven yet. Obviously, after the first week bye, I think he's got some stuff to do. So he's my 11th seed.
How do you feel about CMC and Derrick Henry this year?
What's up?
CMC and Derrick Henry this year.
Yeah, so that's going to be very interesting to see how that pans out. Hilliard could be the guy there.
He's not gonna be the guy.
I like that bold prediction.
Revenge, man.
He's been talking about Hilliard.
Barry, you keep making bold predictions like that, we're gonna get you back on the show more often. I like it.
Hey,
Yeah. Well,
be bold, be Barry.
Well, Barry's motivational squeeze is about to come up in a second here.
Yep.
So yeah, we're on the 12th now, and it seems to me we all unanimously have Reuben Gall as our 12th guy, as our Pancake King. First ever Pancake King rankings, actually, first ever in-season Pancake King rankings ever, and that goes to Reuben Gall.
You are the Pancake King, young and sweet, hiding fan of thieves. Ooh, see that boy, watch that taste, dig in the Pancake King.
So with that, we got our new section. We're going to roll a tape here for Marcus Berry's motivational squeeze.
This is why you're fucking holding back, and I'm tired of the BS.
All right, we're back. So Barry, talk to Reuben Gull. Give him some motivation here, man.
Well, Reuben, you took some shots earlier today. Like I said earlier, you're going to be taking more shots later on, or even for next week. So starting Sammy Watkins and everything like that, hey, obviously he didn't do anything. So, well, you could have started anyone else. So therefore, just you got to get your team together, man. And I know it's only week 1, but just get your team together. So, yeah.
It's not more like a bash than motivational.
Well, he gave me
Very
some
bash.
advice. What was that?
Yeah, that's true.
Build, break, build.
That's right.
Right.
Look, break them down, build them up.
Oh, yeah.
Reuben, don't start Sammy Watkins. You heard it here from Marcus Berry on Barry's Motivational Squeeze. All right, folks. Well, that does it for us. We'll see you guys next week when we preview week 3, which potentially we could have one of these guys being 0-2, Alex possibly being 0-2. We could have majority of the Cobb and Dash show 0-2, which hasn't happened ever since the Cobb and Dash show has been a thing. So yeah, pretty crazy stuff here, actually. So yeah, we'll see you guys next week as we preview week 3 of the BL Plus, and we can't wait to see you guys. So be easy.